I want to dive deep a little bit with you, Rafi, on AI dubbing. We talked about this a little bit. Like, there's a lot of challenges, right? Crosstalk, I understand is, females are a little harder. Are you going to do the lip sync, not do the lip sync? Is 10 seconds, low latent enough, or do we need so tell me a little bit since you've been doing this super hardcore of like your idea of AI dubbing these stations in a different language. What's your take on the state of play? What are the biggest challenges that you're seeing and how have you gotten through them? You talked about evaluating. Are you using other LLMs to evaluate the output of LLMs? How are you guys approaching that problem?
So last year, Tennis Channel was launching internationally, and we wanted to experiment with the lip dubbing, lip sync, and translation into multiple different languages. We launched Tennis Channel International in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Spain, and in India. And we wanted to see what those translations would look like, and see if the dubbing or the lip syncing would work. And to a large part, it did. Now, it's not instant. It still takes a lot of editing work to make sure the translations are accurate and they're timed correctly, because there's, certain phrases will be longer in one language and shorter in another. And so that can create a lot of like inconsistency with the cadence of the speaker. We also tested it in a kind of roundtable environment, right? You have a kind of like a part of the interruption type of situation where everybody's talking over each other, and it has a lot of difficulty doing that. So one workaround we figured out with that was like, currently everybody's mic, then all audio goes into one feed, but then we figured out like if we can just take the individual feeds and have them separately, then the AI will be able to pick that up separately and be able to identify the voices more clearly.
Nice.
But it's time consuming and it's somewhat expensive to do that. So unless you have a really valuable asset that can be kind of evergreen, that's not really a great option. And it's also like kind of it's a trickier play, especially when you're dealing with talent, to make sure that this consent is cleared ahead of time to say that you're going to be doing this type of thing and why you're going to be doing this. You ultimately don't want to make someone sound like something that they didn't want to sound like, right? Um, so it gets a little bit trickier there with pre-produced stuff with talent that work for you. That's a little bit easier. But then when you're working with news, you obviously don't want to have somebody that you're interviewing or a celebrity or a public figure out there where you're manipulating their voice without their consent, right? So especially for the lip syncing. Now,
Yep.
for live translation, with a little bit, it's a little bit more flexible because it's essentially doing what SAP has been doing. And, to that extent is, all right, can you get the translation done? How quickly can you get it done? Right now, we're testing with live, right? So we take the ingest, sorry, we're ingesting the broadcast feed, running it through a translator, and then spitting it back out. There's a lot of different factors that go into there. Again, with the cadence, matching the voices with the speakers. It doesn't always get it perfect. So, for example, if I'm in the studio and then I cut over to a shot of me in the field, my voice is going to sound a little bit different to the AI itself, and it's going to maybe think that I'm, speaker number two and speaker number three, and change it. All that stuff is kind of getting better over time.
Yep.
It's We're down to like a roughly a 10-second latency from live broadcast to digital distribution.
Okay.
That seems to be good enough for news. Maybe if we were working on with sports, probably a little too long, but yeah, I would be more comfortable with having a shorter time frame.